Okay, so literally on today's freaking episode of Daily Dose of Sunshine, Rooney over here is gonna be giving you some freaking sunshine. We're just gonna be so freaking excited. I literally love Rooney. Rooney's so silly, honestly. Like, actually one of like the most serious people I've ever met. Reminds me of Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh. Like literally. Yeah, do you know like Rabbit's so rational? Yeah, honestly, I like sometimes feel like Rooney and I are like Tigger and Rabbit. We're like Rabbit's like, can you stop? Can you stop the chaos? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, and then freaking PR's Pooh, because PR's like so freaking nice. Yeah, PR's always like Pooh. So yeah, let me scroll down, let me see. So yeah, you're a streamer, obviously. Rooney like streams like every day. Do you yeah, so do you want to freaking I like how you just do you want to tell me about your content? I stream.
I'm just doing like all the I mean, yes, what it said, or what was the wording on that? Because it's just like, what do you do? It's just like I stream.
Yeah,
I just filled out the forms. Yeah, I'm actually looking at it now.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about your content and like the things that you stream?
I just kind of whatever I feel like playing. Lately, it's been a lot of Marauders, which is like Tarkov looter shooter extraction type thing. Whatever I feel like, I like a lot of like story driven things and like strategy stuff that is more thought than like twitchy skill. But like I'll play games like Valorant and League because there's something inherently wrong with my brain, and I just like the suffering.
Yeah, the competitiveness.
Yeah, it's fun to me. I don't know. I like to talk to people and talk about ideas and stuff going on. I know it's something a lot of people aren't like, they don't like to do. They avoid like politics and world events and stuff like that, but I think it's something that you should talk about.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things about you is that you're super into politics. Yeah, I'm a huge stan of political commentary, even though I don't like to talk about it myself because I don't like to deal with like angry people. But like I do like to hear other people talk about
angry people. I get called all kinds of names all the time. It's fun.
Yeah, I can imagine like just seeing like the comments, like just knowing how politics can destroy like Thanksgiving or like something for like a lot of families, including mine. I'm like, absolutely not. I can't talk about that with anyone. And like my family are probably a lot more laid back than a freaking random person would be. Yeah, so like just thinking about the things that you're probably called, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so basically, it looks like you've got some stuff in the background there. Is that like an Irish flag? A jar of something?
So this was a treat jar, but it's empty because I haven't gotten any more for JoJo, and she also doesn't really come up here so much anymore anyway. So Irish flag, bunch of different like patches and stuff. Thing from BioShock. Man chooses, the slave obeys.
Oh yeah, BioShock.
And then just like patches and stuff from different units and stuff. One of them that I kept because I think it's funny. One because it was a unit I went overseas with, stuff like that.
Yeah. So you've literally been overseas. That's crazy. Yeah.
All over the world.
All over the world. Where have you been?
All over the Middle East.
Oh my goodness.
A bunch of countries in Europe. Most of the Middle East wasn't like for fun. I did get to go and do some things that I thought were really cool, like going into the middle of the desert in Saudi Arabia to just shoot a bunch of guns into the dunes. There was no real reason for it.
Into the dunes?
It was training, but
that's fun. Yeah.
Machine guns and heavy machinery and heavy weapons and stuff. It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah. What was your favorite place that you visited?
Korea was a really good break
from the ads.
God, I love Korea. I spent a bit over a year in Korea total, not consecutive, but it was a good time. A lot of great people, a lot of really good food. Oh man, the food there is amazing. If
I could imagine
Korean barbecue, go do it.
I've never had it. I want to try it.
Really good.
Yeah, I always want to go to Korea because of their like their esports culture. I love that. It makes me super excited. I'm like, I love esports.
One of the Koreans that I worked with, like deferred his like conscription in the military to play esports.
I love that. Yeah, I literally love that. Somebody says in the chat, roll.303 get a big shout out. Wait, what is that?
So one of the political commentary people that I watch, Bo the Fifth Column, you all should check them out. BEAU if you're interested, but it says rule 303. The whole thing says if you have the means at hand, you have the responsibility to act. Like if you see somebody in need of help, or somebody in like crisis, or that needs something that you have the ability to give it, you're responsible to give it. Like, it is your
Honestly,
duty to help them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally like all of your like everything like around is very, very alluding to like freaking, I don't know, like kind of like anarchy socialism, and I love that.
That's why
yeah, I love that.
I kept the Third Army.
Yeah, I literally love all of that. Yeah, and like
George patch over here.
Yeah, Rooney's also a freaking historian, which I think is super cool because Rooney like literally knows so much about history. Yeah. And just hearing the stories about like what Rooney has to say, what got you into like wanting to know more and more about like history?
My grandfathers, both of them. One of them fought in the Korean War and got hurt in the Korean War, but I always heard like war stories from him. And then my other grandfather, who I spent a lot more time around, was like really big into like the Civil War and World War II and stuff like that. And I grew up right next to in Charlestown in Boston, the site of the Battle of Bunker Hill, where it's like a major turning point in the Revolution. Like the top of my hill is the monument for that. The bottom of it was the USS Constitution from the War of 1812. Next to the Constitution is the USS Cass-and-Young, which is one of the last Fletcher-class destroyers from World War II. There's the trading field where they used to train all the troops out of Massachusetts for whatever conflict the U.S. was fighting. Big statue in that one from the Civil War, and like all stuff like that. Like growing up in like a very historical neighborhood and seeing all that stuff all the time. I had an uncle that died in Vietnam, my grandfather in Korea. One of my cousins was in Afghanistan long before I joined. He's a bit older than me. Our uncle was a Green Beret and was in Afghanistan in the 80s and was like a Green Beret through like the 80s and 90s.
Oh my goodness.
Like, all kinds of stuff like that.
Oh my goodness.
Being around all of that all the time got me really interested in military history, especially. And then from there, it kind of branched out to learning the in-between bits is how I looked at it for a long time of like, okay, well, these wars happen, but like, why? Like, why did World War II break out? Like, why wasn't it stopped? Why didn't we do something sooner? And that kind of questions. So that makes you look at the 30s and then the 20s and then World War I, and then, okay, what caused that? And you keep going back, and it's just this constant line. And it made me realize that it wasn't the in-between things that caused the wars directly. Like, the wars weren't like what was like the focal point anymore for me. You know, it's just that kind of interest.
So how would you say that like oh, I just heard a fireworks. How would you say that like your Irish heritage kind of like plays into like the anti-imperialism?
Oh, a lot. I mean, my family came to America to get away from the fight. One of them in 1916, another one in 1918, one in the late 1800s, just kind of all across that time period where you have like the precursor to the IRA popping up and then like the actual IRA stuff happening. And they fled that fighting. So like that was always something that like I grew up with. Like I heard like all those old Irish rebel songs, like like come out and fight me like a man type like war songs. But then I also like knew how much it could disrupt everyone and make life miserable for everyone involved.
So like it like seems like from like a young age you were very aware of like that like nobody's a winner in war. So like a lot of us are like taught that like I don't know, like war is like something that's like necessary for like I don't know, like to like maintain America. So like you knowing that from like an early age about the casualties of war and being affected by it, I think is like a very powerful thing that you got to experience.
I feel like for our generation too, there's a big part of it of like we've all grown up with like, the war in Iraq being televised 24/7. And like,
it was just normalized,
desensitized to it. And we didn't really have much loss in that.
That's true. Honestly, I had no idea what was going on. It just was like, okay, wars, they happen. You know what I mean? I'm like, they
Yeah.
just happen. And like, I don't know, like kind of like being of that generation when 9/11 happened, right? And just being like, I guess that happens. There's just so many tragedies. And like, you're just like, oh, I guess the world is just like that. Yeah, so like I understand that. So yeah, I know that you're like freaking, you're like super knowledgeable in wars and stuff. You've also been in the military yourself. Like, do you think that the military for you was like a like way that you went into because the rest of your family was?
Oh no. Other than two of my cousins and one of my uncles that I
Yeah,
knew of, and like my grandfather, like I never saw my family as a military family. I
yeah.
was discouraged from it a lot.
Oh yeah,
My grandmother had like made me promise her that I would at least try college first, which I
yeah,
did. She passed before any of that happened, and then went tried college. It wasn't for me. I was still too
yeah,
crazy and young. Joined the army, spent
yeah,
years doing that, and it did a lot for me.
yeah,
It's a lot of people will say like, "Oh, the army is what you make of it," and that
yeah,
honestly, to a large point, is true. Where I had a whole lot of issues from like when I enlisted, and then I have different issues. Some of them are the same, but
yeah,
it did a lot for me to help like
yeah,
learn how to deal with some things and like put a lot into perspective for me and helped a lot.
yeah. I mean, honestly, you're the one who taught me that like not to like necessarily just say thank you for your service to a veteran.
Oh God, yeah,
um
a
yeah,
lot of
because I
people
had
hate
like
that.
yeah, because like so many people are veterans and like you don't even know that they're veterans, but like the maintenance man of my apartment complex is a veteran, and the guy that was with him, the older gentleman, was also a veteran. And I was like, oh, so you're like kind of like veterans at fixing fans, and they're like, and veterans of like the army or something. I'm like, oh my goodness. But then I was like, do not thank them for their service, because Rooney said that's cringe and I don't want to be cringe, so I refrained from it. And I think
Yeah,
that my relationship with them is better now, had I known that. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
It's just like one of those things that like it's not World War II anymore. At least
Yeah,
like what most of us have like fought in. It's not World War
yeah,
II anymore. It's a very different kind of war. There's a very there's a lot of people that I know that carry a lot of guilt from what they went through,
yeah,
and thanking them for that doesn't help. It often makes it
yeah, I could
worse.
imagine. Yeah, I could imagine, especially if you feel like you like had a part to play in like something that you didn't like. I could see that being like a trigger for sure. After you told me something like that, I was like, I'm never gonna say that again unless I see like I don't know, like a young person in their military fatigues, maybe that'll like bolster them or something. But like just saying that to like a obviously like a veteran that's trying to like live their life outside of that, I'm like, I'm just not gonna do that anymore. Yeah. So like literally thank you. Everyone can literally learn from that, because like yeah. I like once said that to somebody and they like seemed so cringed out, and I was like, oh. Or,
Yeah,
like,
because like you don't
awkward.
want to be
Yeah.
rude. Like they're like, what do you
Yeah.
say to that? Like, you're
Yeah.
welcome. Like that's
Yeah.
that's awkward. And like you don't want to be
Yeah.
rude because you understand the sentiment. Like they mean well. They don't mean to be putting you on the spot, make you feel uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
like you're just like the people that
Honestly,
are
yeah.
like, "You thank me for my service," are all
Yeah.
douchebags and don't deserve it anyway.
Yeah. That is very true, yeah. Um, so, yeah, I like, guess we're, like, kinda thought to, like, thank the, like, troops no matter what. So, like, if somebody's like, "I was in the military," you're like, "I gotta thank them." But then I now see it from, like, the point of, like, the person. Because if somebody thanked me for that, I'd be like, "That's weird. Don't thank me for
Yeah,
that."
like it's just
Yeah.
you're dude, you just did your job.
Yeah.
Most people
Mhm.
haven't even deployed at this point anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's not like you have a whole lot of combat vets active that haven't been active for a long time, and
Yeah.
most of your force is lower enlisted. And if most of them haven't deployed, like they just did an office job with some
Yeah.
extra bullshit added in day to day.
Yeah. So, like, do you say that like oh,
Oh, sorry. I don't know how I can mute this, but there's traffic outside. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it.
somebody's, like, revving that motorcycle or something.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, so, let's see, so it says that your goals in your profession are to get a job. Yeah. Well, like, what do you wanna, like, specialize in? Like, what is your goals, you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Oh,
like immediately, it's just I
yeah.
need something to get to work because
Yeah.
of personal issues. I don't really care to get too much into, but
Yeah.
I was in school for teaching.
Yeah.
Nearly done with that. So like I need
I
to get
love
back
that.
to that, but I can't get back to that right now.
Yeah.
So it's just to finish my degree in history, and I would love to
Yeah.
teach. I'd love to interact with like high school or college,
Yeah.
like older, like not
Yeah.
quite like fully grown and like adults in my mind
Yeah.
necessarily, because I think a lot of college kids are like in that transition period still.
Yeah.
But younger people who might be interested and try to like foster that interest, and I know there's a lot of people that hate the way history is taught and everything, and I'd like to be able to do it differently and try to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, like it like seems like a lot of that you've learned was through experience. And I think that that's cool because like a lot of the time people use their experiences to help other people. And yeah, so like teaching's like one of those kind of jobs. And I literally love that. Plus I could see you as like a history teacher. I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause like, yeah,
And
I've
like
had those teachers. Yeah.
I was an absolute dog shit student. Like it was
Yeah.
bad. It was really bad. I barely passed high school.
Yeah.
Not because of any like intelligence things. It was entirely because I was lazy, and it was like a lack of effort and discipline
Yeah.
on my part.
Was it like an authority thing? Cause I did the
I mean,
exact same thing when
kind
I was
of.
in,
It
yeah.
just I my focus was elsewhere. Like it wasn't on
Yeah.
school. I was
Yeah.
off busy doing hood rat shit with my friends.
Yeah. Well, that's more
And just
fun.
yeah, it was. It was a
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Nearly died
Yeah.
a lot of times.
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes I like think about like back then, I'm like, how did I not die? Yeah. Like you literally hear those like stories of like kid fell into a dam. And I'm like, how was I not that kid? I was like literally playing in the dam. Literally. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Sneaking out, going into the forest late at night. How did a bear not attack you? Yeah.
Oh no, forest where I live.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
going
no
out and go to like
forest.
illegal ware. Yeah, no, it was in the middle of Boston.
What?
Go to like illegal
Oh.
warehouse concerts and
Oh my
like,
goodness.
house parties and like basement.
Oh my
shows
goodness.
and
Oh my goodness. I'm so jealous of your childhood. Dang. You had like,
it's
you had
crazy,
like,
man.
you had all the stuff around you. Dang, we
Yeah.
had like a skate park. And that was it.
We had all kinds of. I mean, there were skate parks and stuff. I didn't really go to one. There was an abandoned one
Yeah.
we used to go to and like. do stuff.
Oh. Yeah. Honestly, I used to go to the cemetery and try to contact ghosts.
We used
I
to go to the
really want,
cemetery
yeah.
to hide from cops.
Oh, you know, we could have been friends there. You know what I mean? I could have been the alibi. I could have been like, I'm just hunting for ghost officer.
Yeah,
They're
you're
helping me. They're the camera crew. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be perfect. So yeah, let me literally scroll down. So it says that you want to go back and finish your degree for teaching. I think that's super cool. Like, how much do you have left on that?
About a year, give or take.
That's not.
If I
That's
want to
like
get my
not
master's, like a
anything.
year and a half, 2
Yeah.
years.
What? So you already have like your bachelor's in it?
No, like I'm just shy of getting a bachelor's.
What? Are you freaking serious?
Yep.
Dang, you're like literally so prestigious. I had no idea. Like I knew that you were like well cultured, but like prestigious at the same time. See, these are crazy because then you talk to people and then you realize that your friends are literally geniuses. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're not just somebody with a lot of like stories and knowledge. You're actually like you actually have degrees. That's crazy. That's literally insane. So okay, so this says so this says that you've struggled and you've had some like difficulties with losses in like the like family and like a VA incompetence. How has that like affected you?
I mean, like I got out of the military through a large part of my life. I've had
Yeah.
friends die and like family die and all that, just like everyone else's family and stuff. But there were a lot of people that I was close to that passed that really kind of fucked me up for a long time. One of those things that the military helped me with in a way. But got out of the military and like since then went worked for a little bit and then went to school and then went to try to get like stuff through the VA and through like medical side of things, and have just been kind of put in a loop for that and not getting anywhere with that is frustrating and
Yeah.
big distraction. Like I have hearing loss in my right ear more than my left, which is a pattern called shooter's ear. Normally it's the other way around because most people are right-handed.
Yeah.
I'm left-handed, so my right ear is worse when normally it's the other way and like stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then with the schooling, like why I'm not in school is because the VA was overpaying me and the school and decided you got to pay up.
Oh
And I
no.
can't, because they took everything that they'd overpaid me, which was what I had saved, and the money was for me to be able to live. So like
Dang.
it
Yeah.
it kind of threw a wrench in all those gears, and I had to move away. My grandfather passed away, so I had to move up here to New Hampshire, where I am now. I had last year alone 3 friends pass away, and it's just one of those things where like the past like year and a half, there's just been no break, and it kind of gets to you at times, but there's not really much you can do. Um, keep yourself going, find a way to keep yourself moving, and look forward to the future, and not get so bogged down on all the shit dragging you down, because otherwise
That's
it'll
yeah.
get to you, and that's it. If you know.
Yeah, that's super inspirational. Honestly, I've never had to like lose a family member like that, so I have no idea how painful that is. I lost my salamander, and I was literally devastated for like months. So I can only imagine how hard it is to like lose a freaking family member that you've had with you for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like my mind can't even comprehend that. Like I think that in order to protect my psyche, my mind can't even comprehend it. So that's really powerful to like have to like to go through that and still like freaking function so well, or like
Yeah.
appearing to function so well. Yeah. I know that
There's
there's like a bunch of like veterans in the chat right now, like Pretzel and Unicorn are both like, fuck the VA.
yeah, fuck the VA.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Like
I like how like,
it's one of
yeah.
those things that is like such a great idea
Yeah.
to me, of like, yes, we should provide people with healthcare, but then
Yeah.
it's so wildly underfunded, and lack of resources that like they're also incentivized to some extent to not
Yeah.
give people their disability pay that they're owed, and to
Yeah.
like find an excuse to say no, we don't owe you this. And
Honestly,
so
that
it's just,
seems, yeah. Honestly, that seems really messed up because like literally like going into something like that is like a live-in career, and like you have to like base all of your time around it. Like you kind of like give yourself to like the military. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, like I think a lot of people now, it's more just like it's a job, and for me it was to get me out of the situation I was in,
yeah.
largely. Um, so that is like cool and all, and like I know a lot of people that joined like for citizenship, people that joined for all different reasons. It's like, you name it, if you can think of an idea to join the military, probably somebody that anyone in here who's been in the military can tell you people
Yeah.
joined. And like there's a lot of people that join to get their college, to get GI Bill,
Oh
so they
yeah,
can
I know a
afford out.
lot of people that do that. They join
Yeah,
for college mostly. Yeah, most of the time people are poor and they join for college because they can't pay for college. Like most of the people that I've met, yeah.
yeah, so it's like that kind of cycle of like you just, there's all different reasons for doing it,
Yeah.
regardless of it. Like if you get hurt, they should be paying you for it. Like you did your
Yeah.
service, you did your time. The only thank you that most people want is to get what they're owed.
Yeah. So it like looks like Pretzel in the chat is like, you gotta keep fighting, like bolstering you on.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, like
yeah.
I haven't stopped. I'm on round 5 now of trying to go through all of it, but it's just not. It's a whole long thing. I don't want to get too much into. So
Yeah. I also know that there's like people that I know who went to the military because their parent like their father was in there and they just want to make their father proud, like that sort of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
shit. I think the first
Um
time I heard my father tell me that he was proud of me is when I called home from basic training.
really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Which, like, it wasn't that like I
Yeah.
didn't ever think he was, but it was just hearing him say that
Yeah.
that stuck with me for a long
Yeah.
time.
Honestly, just thinking about like I don't know, about like something that like that you just like you weren't in the military so you never want to know, and so joining the military and then like that's pretty crazy. So it says that what are some things that or what are some ways that you muster motivation to push through the difficulties in order to follow your dreams? It says remind yourself to keep going, and the alternative hurts more people than it's ever worth. I literally love that.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
I kind of alluded to it before, but like I've had last year alone, I had 3 friends take their own lives,
Yeah.
and it's just that's like that's like the extreme end of like you can't take it anymore and like all of that. And, like,
Yeah.
if there's anyone here who's thinking of that, please reach out to somebody, reach out to me, reach
Yeah.
out to Holly, PR, anyone else that I'm gonna volunteer their time. But reach
Yeah.
out to somebody, anyone. It's never worth it. I've been on the side of losing friends and people that I was closer to than anyone else in the world, and
Yeah.
it never goes away. It doesn't. It gets better over time. It gets easier to live with having dealt with that, but it doesn't help anyone. Just you got to find some way, something,
Yeah.
some little bit of respite, some way to get away from where you are and get into a better situation.
Yeah. Honestly, I was like talking about how a lot of the time we tell people who like lose the battle with depression that they're selfish, but we never talk about how selfless the people are to live for us when they obviously it's hard because I've been there. I know how hard it is to live when you have depression. It's literally like it's Groundhog's Day. It's like misery every single day, and it's the same day over and over and over again, and there's just no hope. So, yeah, make sure to tell the people in your life that are battling depression, thank you for being so strong because, yeah, they're like ultimately living because they don't want to hurt you, and that's pretty selfless.
Like one of the ways that I've heard
Yeah.
somebody put it really well is like if you're on a ship and there's a whirlpool and you're getting sucked
Yeah.
down that, there's a point where you can get yourself out. There's a point where
Yeah.
you cannot get out on your own. You need help. And that's the reaching out, throwing a lifeline, trying to get somebody to pull you out.
It's true, yeah.
Because you can't do it alone. You'll never be able to do it alone. And if you feel like you're alone, trust me, you're not. I actually have a note that somebody left for me that I've
Aw.
kept for years because I was that lifeline for somebody, and that was something that's kept me going in a lot of ways.
Honestly, it's always really sweet when you're when like people reach out to you and they tell you that you saved their life, but like them saying that saved your life. I know that like in my lowest points, like just remembering that like people literally have told me that like my streams have saved them in their depression, saved me in my depression because I was like, dang, I feel like I can't obviously hurt those people and I've helped those people, so now I can help other people. So yeah, like people telling you that can literally save your life. And it literally did mine for sure. And I love all you gamers. If any of you other gamers want to be on, please message me on Discord and you can talk about mental health. I would literally love that. And you can literally be on just like Rooney, which would be like literally amazing. Yeah. Okay. Let me literally look more like at the thing, but I literally agree. Talking about mental health is like a very important thing because a lot of the time, oh, a hydrate PR. Thanks. Okay. Thanks, PR. I'm gonna have you on the stream next, PR, so Rudy can hydrate you. Okay. And I have a hydrate only PR command. So
right
yeah. Look at that. Yeah. We're just gonna hydrate you only. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Dislike. Yes. Wouldn't mind. Yes, Lawton, you also need to come on. Yes. Yes, vodka bottle doesn't count. No. No drinking vodka right now.
Fuck.
Oh gosh. Well, Rooney is.
Me. I've been chugging a 2-liter bottle of vodka this whole
Well, like
time.
here's the thing, right? You're Irish. You're Irish. Vodka is potatoes, so like you know what I mean. Like it makes sense.
Yeah, but my people drink whiskey.
Is whiskey made of potatoes too?
It could. I mean, not really.
Yeah.
Barley and hops.
Barley, hops. I have no idea how any alcohol
Malted
is made.
Barley.
Honestly, yeah.
I mean,
malted barley.
Yeah. So
is
you
that
take
like
the
wheat?
barley and you get it wet, and it starts to like sprout a little bit, and then you smoke it or heat it up so that it stops growing, and then you let that ferment in water, and then you still it out, and you get alcohol.
Oh my goodness! Do you know who Unicorn Mythical is?
Sounds familiar.
Because like Unicorn's always in my chat, and you two should be best friends. I want to just know that because Unicorn is also like super freaking like woke amazing, and also literally a veteran.
You call me.
I think that you two would really, yeah, you're definitely woke, but like not in like the like cringy way that
No,
like,
I know what you mean.
yeah, you're definitely woke for sure. You're based, actually. I would say based more than woke. Yeah, based with a capital B. Yeah, with a bold B.
These are some pretty heavy compliments you're passing around
Yeah, you and Unicorn are like hella based, and you two could be best friends for sure. I could listen to you both just talk about the VA like on a podcast for hours. Yeah,
just complain
literally.
about the VA
Yeah,
for an hour.
yeah, exactly. And then obviously anyone else that complains about the VA, which is like literally everyone I've ever met. I've never met one person who's been in any like military freaking branch that has not complained about the VA. So you'd have like a whole rallying force. Yeah. Yeah, you could start like a freaking a veteran podcast. I would love to listen to that. I would literally love to listen to that. I'm just planting the seeds right now. We all want to listen to that, honestly. We do. And then you could have a hydrate command where PR can just drown everybody. I know PR would like that, yeah. It'd be like wild waves in there. Wait, Pretzel got excited? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Shelby's here. Yes, Unicorn, you are woke. You're all woke and based, okay? Yes, based. Based means that the person is like speaks facts and like truth. So
I feel like
says
it usually goes along with like an extreme point of view, like some kind of like hard end of some spectrum of something.
Oh,
yeah. What?
𝗫𝗲𝗀𝐀 donated $1.20 to my mom. Such a cute.
Awake.
Thank you for donating $1 to my mom's charity. That's so sweet, gamers. Yeah. Yes. I just know that like you two talking about, I'm pretty tired. Oh yeah. I just know that you two like could like just say some really cool things. Yeah. And like I would just love to hear it. Like just even stories of like being in the military would be super fun because I like hear so many freaking silly stories about like people in the military.
Anybody that doesn't have a ton of just there's so many people that are all like young relatively and just stuck together constantly and like high tempo, high stress shit that there's always some kind of shenanigans to break the monotony.
Yeah. A lot of the time it's really silly. Yeah. Or like friends you made along the way. Yeah. That honestly, that probably is what started the whole like it was the friends we made along the way kind of meme. I like bet it was probably the military because like honestly it could be probably like really bad at some points, but the friends you made along the way were probably like all that hold it together in the shenanigans. Especially like in another country, like the customs are different. I could see the shenanigans that I would get into, so I can only imagine. I could literally only imagine like the shenanigans that freaking 18-year-olds would get into and like 19-year-olds. Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine.
Unsupervised 18 to 22-year-olds.
Yeah. I could imagine. Dang. Yeah. Like freaking like you have to be 25 to rent a car. I could imagine like how freaking
there is an exception to that for most of those companies. There's an exception to that for active duty.
Okay, well now you're just making me want to. Well, I don't have to anymore, but like damn. If I would have known that earlier. Maybe they should know. No, that would make sense. For like active duty, like other countries, like you can drink at like 18. So like, what if they did that for active duty? Then everyone would sign up. But then that would be too much of an incentive, right? It would be like kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, like you can drink before you're 21, just don't get caught.
Yeah, or in a different country, right?
Years.
Yeah. Could you do that? Like if you were stationed in like a European country where like could you do that, or is the military base like separate?
Korea is a good example. I think the drinking age is 18, but it's not really enforced. But the MPs, like the military police, do patrols with the local police in Korea, and so like the bar won't check your ID because like it's not a problem for them, but the MPs will. And if you're caught drinking underage, you're gonna have problems with the military. You'll get UCMJ, Universal Code of Military Justice. They'll come in and you'll lose rank and pay.
Oh my goodness. You'll lose a whole rank?
Oh, you could lose, like, you can go from specialist, like E4 or like PFC to E3 down to private, like E1.
Dang!
Like, lowest pay grade. It's up to your command and how bad it is.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you'll just get like half your pay taken away.
Dang, half of it? That's crazy.
Yeah, and have extra duty where like you gotta work till like 11 o'clock at night on weekdays and like work a normal shift during the day. Like it's really up to your command. They can give you up to 45 days of extra duty and reduction in rank and half your pay for up to 2 months. So they could take a full month of pay, but they can only take half of your pay per month.
Yeah, honestly, that's literally crazy.
Yeah.
That's literally crazy. It's like weird that like us as Americans, we can go to other countries and we can abide by their drinking age and we don't get in trouble, right? Because
Yeah.
it's their laws. But like in the military, you can't do that. That's weird.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because like you often operate in like are in places where there is no real government. Like you are you're the
Yeah.
closest thing to a government. Like for
Yeah.
a long time in Iraq and Afghanistan, that's how it was. Like
Yeah.
we were the government, the stabilizing force, and like the reason that there was order
Yeah.
to some extent. And so the military has its own set of laws that
Yeah.
apply all the time, no matter where you are.
That's lame.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the government in those areas. You have to like, no, I'm not gonna say you should stage an uprising because then that would have been bad. No, because then yeah. Firstly, yes, honestly. Wait, in the ocean? Wait, have you ever been on a boat in the middle of the ocean?
I mean, not for the military, but God, like.
Wait, have you ever? Oh, you've been deep sea fishing?
Yeah.
What? What have you caught?
Tuna once.
Tuna? Oh wait, were you one of those people that was a tuna fisher person?
No, I just went out because a friend of mine's like
Oh,
family owned
yeah.
a boat, so like we went out.
Oh. Yes, Rooney does stream. PR, can you link Rooney, please? Rooney does stream. Rooney actually is a freaking amazing streamer and also talks about politics on his stream, which is really fun.
Yeah, I will say,
yeah.
like, disclaimer, like, I'll talk about, like, if somebody gets
Yeah.
uncomfortable, I'll back off of things.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't shy away from talking about
Yeah.
stuff like that. Appreciate
Rooney's
the
a
calls,
very,
y'all.
yeah, Rooney's a very, very radical leftist for sure. And that's like one of the things that I love the most about Rooney.
I don't know
Rooney
if I'm
says the
radical.
things.
I wouldn't say I'm a radical leftist. I would say I am strongly
Yeah.
anti-authoritarian.
Yeah.
And anybody who understands what that
Yeah.
means, cheers.
Yeah. Rooney's very much like that. And as somebody who like, I don't like to talk about politics, but like I literally love listening to like political stuffs. And yeah, and I also literally I literally love I love everything about the left and like how radical the left, like how radical like people make the left seem, even though it's not really that radical. So yeah,
It's like we
I
think
love hearing
people
that. Yeah,
should get food and housing.
yeah, yeah.
Wow,
I
what a
like
hot take.
yeah.
What an extreme position.
Yeah. I like to think it's like funny because like they call it the radical left, but like it's not that radical. So like just saying that. I actually met like an 80-year-old woman in the store the other day, and she was wearing a mask in the store, and like and she thanked me for wearing a mask, and then she was like she was like this, well, I don't know if you want to be friends. I'm kind of a radical leftist. I'm like, I just met an old lady who literally classified herself as a radical leftist. It made my day. I actually added her on Facebook and we became friends.
You know that lady says some crazy shit.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Literally, I was like, that is the cutest thing ever. I love this lady. Yeah, I'm a huge stan of hers. So yeah, I know that she says some crazy stuff. She's like the opposite of my mom, who's like very conspiracy QAnon. She's like the opposite of my mom.
Oh God,
and I was
my
like,
grandmother
damn.
was like that.
Yeah, it's crazy talking to those people. Oh my goodness.
Grandmother and one of my father's friends growing up, who I have.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is it? He went to Korea, and when he found out like that's where I was getting sent.
Yeah.
On leave before. He gave me like a little flag that my grandmother had given him when he shipped out and went to Korea. And like he gave it to me, and like I still have it in my wallet, which I think is over on my dresser there.
Yeah.
It's over here. No, it's not. But like I have that, and like that dude is insane. He says some crazy shit. Like he was going on about like biolabs in Ukraine. I was like, I really think that's like we would do that? Like what?
Yeah. No, there very are much like crazy people on each side. There's like crazy. Oh, what Rizzo? Thank you for getting us up to DJ. That's so sweet. Yes, there are very much people on both sides. I know that there's like crazy conspiracy theorists right now that are like pro Russia, anti Ukraine, and then there's people on the opposite side. They're like they don't believe COVID's real, and they're very like. You know, like there's both sides that are literally insane. And I know somebody on at least one of those spectrums, okay? I know people on each, like one of those spectrums. I think they're just conspiracy theorists and they just fall into that on accident. Yeah. Conspiracy theorists tend to like do that, yeah.
Too far from me politically that are like, you shouldn't even vote because voting is taking part in the government.
Yeah, it's true,
and like, fuck the government. That level of, like, don't take part, completely subvert them at every step. It's like, Jesus, dude, what the
Yeah, exactly. There's like so many like extreme ends to everything, and it's actually crazy to like look at it because you're like, I don't know, I like see them as the same people. They just fell into a different rabbit hole at like the wrong time. Yeah, so I'm like, my mom probably could have been that person, right? Like that person that you just talked about, but she accidentally fell into the other one at the time, and then she got obsessed with it. But who knows? Maybe in the future she'll fall down the other one, because like, yeah. Um, yes. So this says, yes, thank you for the sub. Everyone's so sweet tonight. Okay, so this says, when did you start to battle mental health? It says nearly your whole life. So like, when was like the first time that you started having to like battle like mental health?
I think when I realized it, I was probably like 13, 14 years old. When I realized that like not everyone feels this way. Like I had like depression for the longest time, and my grandmother was the same way, and like I like had recognized that like her and I were a lot alike in that way.
Yeah.
And like fuck, she was woman was insane and hilarious, and like I could go on about her for hours now.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
I knew that like her and I both were alike. And
Yeah.
I didn't realize that other people weren't like that until I started getting older. And so I was just like constantly like depression. I didn't really have like anxiety so much, which a couple of my sisters do, and like, hey, appreciate the follows, y'all. But it was just kind of dealing with all of that, and then like also like all of the issues of like the fucking raging
Yeah.
hormones and like growing and all the normal teenager shit, which I think sadly a lot of depression stuff has become somewhat normal.
Yeah.
I think it's always been around. I think that it's just reporting at a more accurate rate, if that
Yeah.
makes sense, where it's less stigmatized. And we've gotten better about like getting people to admit that they
Yeah,
have
and I love
issues
that.
and they have problems
Yeah.
and like they need help and that something's wrong and they aren't sure and they need guidance and they need some kind of help.
Yeah. Honestly, like that, I don't know, like I was also like kind of fell into that like family of people not being open about mental health and seeing taking medication as a crutch and just not being strong mentally. So yeah, now I'm like, dang, if I would have had medication sooner, I could have lived a more fulfilling, happy life. So now I'm like more talking about it. So I love having people on like you who talk about it and like talk about like the effects that it can have on a person. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
always been something that like to
Yeah.
some extent like kind of going into like what the next thing is of like
Mhm.
I think that there is to some extent some kind of like genetic predisposition for
Yeah.
things. Like there's no way my mother doesn't have issues with like her own life growing up. It was
Yeah.
fucked up. But and my grandmother being depressed definitely and like all of that shit, I think I was like kind of genetically predisposed, but then like
Yeah.
I was always different. There was always something about me that was different from the people immediately around me.
Yeah.
Like I'm the youngest of six. I only have sisters. So like
Yeah.
I'm the only son. I'm the only one with my own name.
Yeah.
I am different from them.
Yeah.
But like it never really made sense. But then like I started going to school and everything, and like they'd separate boys and girls in the Catholic school.
Yeah.
And fucking because of that, like I'm used to being around girls all the time as a little
Yeah.
kid. So then I go to Catholic school and I'm like forced to be around only boys, which like I was fine with, but like it was always like a little different. It wasn't what I was used to. There was
Yeah.
always that kind of oddity to me, I think. And then like going
Yeah.
off to school, like that just kind of continued, and I realized that like through nobody's fault, um, I was kind of fucked up to some extent, and I
Yeah.
never got help. It just got worse and worse. Like I fell in with a group of people that would like I was regularly sneaking out and going and doing like illegal shit and like doing drugs and all this shit,
Yeah.
and like regularly somebody would just stop showing up to concerts and then people would find out like, oh hey, that guy overdosed, or like yeah no,
Oh,
like
that's
they
really
took their own
sad.
life
Yeah.
some way or something. It was just like, oh well, that's just what happens. Like you're
Yeah.
with this group of people, like everyone's from like broken homes, but then like I wasn't really quite from a broken home. I
Yeah.
just didn't feel like I belonged anywhere.
Well, I could imagine like how hard it was. I know that Catholic school, especially like I don't know, like I don't want to call us old, but like in like the millennial times was like super freaking like authoritarian and like very like strict. So like it had like a very bad impact like on a lot of people.
Oh yeah, Catholic school is the reason why I'm just like
Yeah.
openly an atheist now.
Yeah.
Like being told like I'm left-handed. When I was a child, I had a nun telling me I had the devil in me for using
Yeah.
my left hand. It's like, what? And I like came home and told my grandmother, and she was like, yeah, that's just like an old superstition. It was just like,
Yeah.
they're like, why is she saying that? She was like, well, because she's like not the nicest person. Like, what do you mean? What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah. Honestly, I could imagine how like just having to go through that and like be in that environment against your will, like brought some rebellion out of you.
Yeah, but
I
at
would
the
rebel
same
too.
time,
Yeah.
it's a very structured way of learning
Yeah.
because it's a little bit more of a like conservative side of things and more
Yeah.
strict. Like these are the rules, you don't break them. You go out to recess at this time, you come back in,
Yeah.
you do these classes in this order,
Yeah.
you have this homework, like very structured. You break the rules, you write the Gettysburg Address however many times the nun tells you to.
Yeah, that's
And like,
crazy.
yeah. And it's like stuff like that where it's just like
Yeah.
very like structured,
Yeah.
disciplined, orderly. Like we weren't beaten or anything.
Yeah.
No, like they never laid a hand on us because
That's good.
it's
Yeah.
fucking illegal. But they would like make
Yeah.
you write the Gettysburg Address. So like I know people that could memorize the Gettysburg Address.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
write out multiplication tables and stuff
Yeah.
like that the whole time. I never really had to do that. I was fairly
Yeah.
well behaved as a little kid,
Yeah.
but like it's just one of those things of like it was structured and rigid, which I think helped me be more organized as I got older.
Yeah.
And be more it kind of prepared me for some extent for the military, where like it is that similar kind of structured, organized lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's just like that order and discipline, as well as it was a better education that I would have gotten if I went to public school. So like
Yeah.
as much as like yeah, there are some like lasting scars that have
Yeah.
long healed, it's also with that is like I'm grateful that my parents were able to send me there.
Yeah. So were your parents like very like religious, or like were they more like, like themselves religious, but not like very like fanatically religious?
I think if you ask because they're not practicing Christians
Yeah.
at all, or Catholics. I think if you ask them, they'd probably say, I don't know, like brush it off and be like, oh, we're
Yeah.
raised Catholic, and just kind of like brush
Yeah.
it off that way, or just say they're Catholic and not elaborate further. But
Yeah.
I think that they'd fall more in like what people would traditionally call agnostic.
Oh yeah, okay.
Where
So
like
they're probably
they
just like, yeah,
like
traditionally
they
Catholic.
believe like they're not particularly spiritual people, which I think
Yeah.
is part of why like I'm able to just openly say that I believe there is no God.
Yeah.
And not feel like shame or like afraid of like their approval going
Yeah.
away, because like they don't see me as like an abomination for not believing
Yeah.
that. And so like that's great. But like I know there's a lot of people who will just not say anything. I didn't say anything for the longest time.
Yeah.
The first person I told that I don't believe in all of it was the priest who did my confirmation when I was 16.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
even for me, like I kind of kept that to myself. I've always been kind of a private person, which is
Yeah.
weird to be coming on here and like opening up
Yeah.
in this way.
No, but I'm literally so honored because like PR, I was like,
appreciate
I wonder if Rooney would like to be on it. And PR was like, absolutely no way Rooney would be like to be on. I'm like, Rooney would probably like to be on. PR was like, no, and I'm like, I think you underestimate Rooney. Okay, I think
like,
you
I don't do it,
underestimate
like,
Rooney.
I
Yeah,
don't like talking about
yeah,
like my like issues and problems so much, but
Mhm.
like I'm making myself do it because I think this is
Yeah.
something that people need to hear to some extent from as many people as they can about
Yeah.
different issues, and like get that word out and get people to talk about it.
yeah,
As much as I
exactly.
don't want to, it does help as well, which like also thank you, because like you're the reason I'm here talking as well.
Yeah, I'm super excited that you're here because listening to other people's stories literally inspires me. I literally spend all day like doing meditation where I just listen to people's stories, or like people that survived heinous things and they're literally advocates today against it. So I'm like, everyone literally could be an advocate by just telling their stories. So literally you doing that is amazing. I mean, there's so many veterans in the chat that have already freaking immediately like pinged like literally all of you related immediately. So I know that you've made an impact already on them. Yeah.
There's some kind of level of understanding that you'd be like, yeah, I was in the military, that like everyone knows like kind of what you dealt with, even if their experience was wildly different. Like there's enough common threads, I think, is fascinating.
Yeah. And like I also think that it's cool because like I have literally like the opposite life of you, like in every single aspect, almost. And like it's like crazy hearing like your perspective on life. I love hearing about that because I was like raised in like trailer park, you know, like not in the middle of town, very religious family, freaking, you know, broken home, like stuff like that, but like not the same, but like still equaled out to like so many struggles. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that
like
that
I didn't
yeah.
have a broken home. Like my parents were high school sweethearts for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I grew up in the middle of a city, like not in a
Yeah.
trailer park. Like I grew up with like an old brownstone, and like my parents were high school sweethearts. Like I didn't have
Yeah.
broken home, but like still ended up
Yeah.
fucked up. Like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
where you're from.
Yeah, and that just goes to show that like no matter where you are in life, your problems and like what you go through are just as valid as somebody else's. I like to tell people that your struggles are the biggest thing to you and they affect you as big as somebody else's. So I don't even care if somebody's struggle is that they broke their phone. Like to us that'd be stupid and maybe they should deal with it in a certain way, but that could literally impact them in the same way that something has impacted me that was different. So
Yeah,
like
like
just being understanding of their feelings, yeah.
that phone could be a lifeline to like a
Yeah.
grandparent that like might
Yeah.
need help. Like they could fall and need help. Like that's
Yeah.
something I had to deal with. Like my grandfather, as he started getting older, like would go to get out of bed and like slip down, and like
Yeah.
he'd call and I'd have to like rush home if I wasn't home, or like run downstairs and like help get him up and get
Yeah.
him back up on his feet. And like as much as like I know that like it bothered him, you know,
Yeah.
like I did what I could to like, this is like I there half the time I wouldn't even mention it to my own family. It would just stay between me
Yeah.
and him. Try to like preserve that dignity and
Yeah.
as much as I can. And like that could be a lifeline. So, like if your phone breaks, like fuck,
Yeah.
well then in your mind it's like shit, what if they need help?
Yeah. I know that there's like a lot of people. I remember like hearing people, they're very invalidating of other people's feelings in that way because they're like, well, it took me this long to get here. I remember there's this like person in the chat where like somebody's like, I had a panic attack because like I was being bullied, right? So they had a panic attack because they were being bullied. I've had panic attacks. I had a panic attack because I ate an edible and then I had a panic attack and then that sprung like a freaking a surge of panic attack for years where I was having a panic attack like every day, which was terrifying. And a person in chat got really defensive. Like my brother had to die and that was when I had a panic attack, as if his panic attack was like the only useful one. And now I'm like very adamant about being like, it's like literally at any stage of your life, having a panic attack is the same as having a panic attack.
Yeah, like I know, like,
Yeah.
and it, like from like my own experience, like there was a point in my life where like I was one of those people that was just like, well, you don't fucking
Yeah.
shit. Like,
Yeah,
but
I was
like
probably one of those
I've
people at
come
some
to
point too.
realize, like different people have been through different things. They have different
Yeah.
thresholds for what gets them and different stuff.
Exactly.
Different people. There's a friend of mine that can tell you the exact day that he got PTSD.
Yeah.
And it was like he had gone on multiple tours, gone overseas, been in combat. Like he was an infantryman. Like he saw shit.
Yeah.
But then there was just one day towards the end of the last deployment he went on where there was a mortar attack and like he had a wife
Yeah.
and kids. He had a wife and kids through this whole deployment. He'd like been in like protracted firefights, like all the shit during this deployment.
Yeah.
But then like one day it was like a couple of weeks to go before he went home, and a indirect fire siren went off and
Yeah.
it got to him. Like he could tell you like that is when
Yeah.
it got to me. And it's random. Like it doesn't
It
matter
is
who
random,
you are,
yeah.
how tough you are, how like mentally strong or how macho you think you are. It
It's
doesn't
true,
fucking
yeah.
matter.
Yeah, I was like, I like to listen to like TED Talks and like people talking about stuff. I like learned that there's something called like CPTSD where like it literally lays dormant and then one thing can trigger you and all of it comes flooding out. So
Yeah.
like it can all affect you at once. It's like an avalanche. So some people get PTSD like immediately. Some people like it, I don't know, it just bottles up until like one day they just snap. And it's not always violent. You know what I mean? Like when I had panic attacks, when I snapped, everything built up, it wasn't violent. I was literally terrified. A lot of us, like when we snap for like things like this, it's just anxiety and it's debilitating. So yeah.
It was also like it doesn't always set in immediately, which I think is part
Yeah.
of what you're kind of at there. Like my understanding, granted, this is like 5,
Yeah.
6 years ago that I read about it in depth, but it doesn't like set in immediately. It's not like you
No.
have the traumatic event and then like a week
Yeah.
later you have PTSD. Like it takes
No.
months or
Yeah, it
long
does.
time
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. I think I was like 23 3 or something when I had my first panic attack. And it was because I ate an edible, but that edible, like having that first panic attack literally scared me so bad that I became afraid of having panic attacks, and then feeling anxiety made me anxious, and I was having chronic panic attacks.
So then also like,
yeah.
I wonder also like every time like if you ever took an edible, like
yeah,
when it starts to kick in, it triggers that memory.
yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh shit, like this is how I
Yeah.
felt, and then I panicked, and then that makes you
yeah, exactly. And then just knowing, because I'd never have a panic attack before, knowing that I could have a panic attack and feeling so powerless and feeling like you're gonna die, because panic attacks are terrifying. That terrifying feeling, my brain was like, you're terrified of that, and now you're gonna have a panic attack every time you feel anxiety, because anxiety leads to the panic attack. So it's like it's a self-defeating prophecy right there. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in like a circle. So yeah, so now I'm like very serious, like when I talk to like people about panic attacks, because I know the cycle of panic attacks. And anxiety feeds panic attacks, and if you have anxiety, then it's a never-ending cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm glad I'm not anxious. Like I think I do better than most people about not panicking.
Yeah.
Between like military shit, I think even before that, this might be a weird tangent. I grew up swimming competitively.
Yeah.
And
a swimmer too.
I remember trying to like I wanted to beat my time more than anything. Like I just wanted to be faster. Like that was it. That was like my
I was like that too, but with running. So I understand that completely. Yeah.
And like running, like you gotta get used to like that CO2 buildup, that feeling of I can't fucking breathe, and like,
exactly,
and it hurts, and like swimming, similar thing of like you can't fucking breathe. You like that like drowning impulse when you're like sprinting, and like if you take your head up to breathe, you're gonna like lose time. Like that slows you down. You're like
exactly,
your drag and like all that. So it's like I got to the point of like I think I was like 10. I just did nothing. Like I remember talking to my coach, like, how do I deal with this? And he was just like, you have to remind yourself you're fine. You're not gonna drown. Don't panic. Don't panic. Like that focus of like, do not give in to that impulse. Do not let it take over. Suppress it. Like learn how to like keep it down and suppress it. Which like
I understand that completely. Yeah,
didn't really help when I applied that to other things, but it helped a lot with like the panic side of it, of like I can just keep going. And like other times where I've had like experiences where like I've kind of heard his voice in my head of like, don't fucking panic. Like, keep it down, keep going, stay calm. Panicking helps no one.
Yeah, I understand that too, like a degree of like running and like feeling like your legs are gonna give out, but you're like, they're not gonna give out. Just keep pushing. And like you're afraid because you're like, is my heart gonna explode? It's literally beating out of my chest, but you're like, no, you're probably not gonna die. Just keep going.
It won't let you get
exactly. Yeah, and like I like remember them being like, run the straights and walk the corners so that you can like let your body rest. But I was like, absolutely not. I can't let my body rest because I'm gonna lose time around those corners. So yeah, I literally was in the same freaking boat there, like just randomly competitive at like just something like swimming or running. You know what I mean? It always starts somewhere. Like I remember it was in PE. Did it matter? No, it was PE. But like I really liked being like the fastest kid in the class. Yeah, absolutely. It was like the funnest thing ever. Yes. Wait, life advice just to keep pushing. Wait, what? You want life advice? What is your life advice just to keep pushing?
Yeah, just do it. Just go. Keep going.
Just do it. Yeah. You're not gonna die. Just keep holding your breath. just keep running, all right? Your legs aren't gonna give out. Yeah.
Fucking 𝗀𝗲𝗶 meme.
Yeah. Thank you for the raid, gamer. How are you doing, Centaur? We're actually doing the hi. So to all the raiders coming in, we're actually doing a mental health podcast. I call it the Daily Dose of Sunshine because I believe that when I was feeling depressed, I like it obviously got very dark and all consuming, but the stories of other people kind of inspired me and shined a light into my depression. And I believe that the stories of other can be that sunshine that shines light in other people's depression. So I'm trying to uplift the voices of amazing freaking people like Rooney here, to talk about their stories to help inspire other people that have been in like the same situation, because everybody can be inspired by somebody. There's like 8 billion people. Like everyone can be inspired by somebody. Yeah. So yeah, welcome in. Can I shout out for Rooney, please? Literally, Rooney's been talking about like so much about like freaking being a veteran, being a freaking swimmer, being a freaking on a boat once catching tuna, like so much. Rooney's so versatile. A teacher, literally. Literally, Rooney's literally has like a freaking degrees, okay? Literally is in school to become a teacher. Crazy. And also an amazing streamer. So I'm just saying, yeah. Right? Rooney's amazing, yeah. Yeah, right, Centaur? Centaur, you should also come on. Like, if you'd message me on the Discord, I would literally love to have you on. I also want to like do something in the future where I have the people that I've had on come back and like give me updates. I think that would be cool. I think that would literally be so fun. Or like just talk about like a story or something, because I know you have a lot of stories, Rooney.
Oh,
And I want to hear some of them, yeah. I want to hear some of them stories. Yeah. I bet you have like some inspirational stories or something of some kind of thing that you've overcome at like some point. Everyone has those, and I literally love hearing those. Yeah. Wait, maybe you can put like a redeem in your stream so we can all save up our points and redeem like a Rooney story. Grandpa's war
that'd be
stories.
interesting. So, fucking free Rooney story. When I was in basic, because I have a Boston accent and I wasn't really quite suppressing it to the level that I do now.
Yeah.
I'm now not suppressing it all. So like this is what I normally talk like. If
Yeah.
I don't like I grew up near big tourist attractions. So I constantly had people coming up to me and be like, "Hey, could you give me directions?" I'd be like, "Yeah," like I'll start giving them like I'm not necessarily nice, but I'd like to think I'm not unkind. I know people aren't from Boston, and Boston can be confusing to get around, so like people ask for directions, and like I'll give them to them. But if you're fucking rude, you're not getting any directions. I'm gonna give you bad directions. I'm gonna send you into a big loop and land you right back where you are. Like I'm not gonna be nice about it. And that's like a fairly common thing. So if you guys go to Boston, you feel like asking directions, do it. Don't worry about it. People will help you. If you ask for help, you will get help. But like if you're rude, you're not getting help.
Yeah.
You're gonna get fucked with long before.
Yeah.
But go to basic training. I'm the only dude from Boston, so like the drill sergeants are constantly asking me to say shit. And like they'd pull me aside, like we'd go to the chow line and like we'd all line up and you'd be like snaked around in this little like overhang. And they'd be like, Rooney, come here. And I'd like step out and be like standing there and they'd be like, tell us a fucking story. And I'm like, fuck. And if none of them laughed through the whole thing, I'd have to get sent back to the end of the line.
Yeah.
And I'd just have to eat last. But like if they did laugh, I'd go right through the door and go first. So it was really I'm fucking eating last, or I'm lucky and I get to go in. So I had to tell a bunch of stories all the time, and it was constantly like, fuck, what do I think about? Like, it was a good time.
That's why I like literally got this background for like $4 right before stream started on Etsy. I was like, I have to have a background, so I just downloaded this one, and there's coffee and rain, and I love coffee and rain because obviously I live in Washington.
Shit, I didn't even realize
that. Coffee and rain. Love coffee and rain. Yeah, and dogs. Those are like the three things that identify Washington: coffee, rain, and dogs.
I would go get JoJo, but it's 1 a.m.
JoJo. Yeah. So literally, Rooney has a doggo named JoJo, and JoJo is freaking cute. Like literally the cutest. Yeah, literally the cutest. And yeah, literally, I want to see you do one of those like DNA tests on JoJo. I think that'd be so cute.
I'm sure it'll say like Boxer Lab Coonhound. Hey, that's my emote.
Hold on. I have that too. Hold on. JoJo supremacy. Rise up. JoJo Nation. That's JoJo. JoJo is so cute. Yeah.
My nephew was just like he's starting to like cruise around on the furniture, like where he's like starting to stand up, then use his hands to walk. He's been over a year old now. I think he's a year. But like, he was walking around and JoJo was standing there and he like went over and like grabbed onto her and she was just like, what are you doing?
I literally love dogs so much. Yeah. So welcome in. You're joining like in the middle of a podcast where we're talking to Rooney right now, and Rooney's freaking literally answering questions for us and like telling us all about himself. Rooney's amazing. So I'm just saying, thank you for the raid. Can I get another shout out for Rooney, please? Like literally, Mike meet Rooney, Rooney meet Mike. You two could be literally best friends. Okay, yeah. So Rooney was just telling us about JoJo. Let me see. So it says right here. The difficulties. So it says that It says that simple sounds.
Oh yeah, the like technical difficulties you've dealt with.
Yeah.
I have the thing up.
Yeah. Yeah. How? Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna ask you. You want to tell us about some difficulties you have dealt with and how you've overcame them?
Yeah. So like another thing, like I've had a lot of friends die, family die. I've nearly died multiple times. It's just like that
Yeah.
kind of like constant reminder of like my own mortality and like how fragile life can be.
Yeah. I bet that's terrifying.
But then also know how hard it can be for somebody to die sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I've come close a few times, and it's just
Yeah.
like, holy shit! Like having a bullet crack by and hit the wall
Oh my
right behind where your
goodness.
head was, or like
Yeah.
my lung collapsed and like nearly stopped my heart.
Oh my goodness.
Shit like that, like almost on the receiving end of a lynching in South Carolina. That was
Oh my goodness.
things like that, just for like 3 quick things popping up, and it's just like, yeah, like that's something you like that doesn't ever leave you away in any way, and like that's not even it. Like there's other times where
Yeah.
like I've had a guy kind of like wave a machete in front of me while I was waiting for the
Oh
bus
my
one day.
goodness.
Yeah, that guy was insane. He ended up getting arrested not long after that for
Oh my
doing shit.
gosh.
But it was just like a whole lot of things where it was like I personally have been like way closer than I might want to admit to dying. And
Yeah.
like also had a bunch of friends like overdoses, suicide,
Yeah.
fucking getting blown up, and like shit like that, like car accidents, you name it,
Oh my goodness.
a bunch. It's like that. Yeah, that sucks. Like it. There's a friend of mine that passed a bit after Thanksgiving this past year. That like, God, it is really hard for me to not make jokes about it, because one of the ways that
Yeah.
like I cope with a lot of shit is just really fucked up dark humor. Like
Yeah.
I will joke about like people dying and like things like that, as long as it's not like out of place and distasteful. I think like I'm not gonna make a joke about a
Yeah.
dead guy at a funeral, you know?
Yeah. But after the
Um,
funeral.
Yeah, unless it's
Yeah.
like a funny kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
joked about my grandfather at his wake and like stuff like that. Like things that he would laugh at. And like the friend
Yeah.
of mine that passed this past Thanksgiving would absolutely make jokes about his
Yeah.
own death.
Yeah.
Like the dude, he was just as like broken in the same way.
Yeah.
In some ways. And it's just like it's a good way to cope. Gallows humor, as anybody who's been in
It
the
is a
military will
really
tell
good,
you,
yeah. That is
gallows
a really
humor
good
is
way to cope,
everywhere.
yeah. Yeah, I can
And
actually see that, yeah.
like growing up even as a kid, like to bring back more Irish shit.
Yeah.
There was a poet, William Butler Yeats, that one of my nephews is named after, for an idea how significant he is
Ooh.
in my family. William.
Your nephew is named Yates?
William.
William. Okay.
After W.B. Yeats.
Mhm.
And I think it was him that had said like
Yeah.
one of his poems, it was like he being Irish had a great sense of tragedy to help him through brief periods of joy. And it's just like a funny kind of way of looking at it, of like, yeah, my family was like always very morbid.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's a really good way to break the tension with like really really hard times. So
Yeah.
I can like see, yeah, I can like see, because you like talked about like your family being a part of the military and then like having like a lot of like loss and stuff involved. I can see how that would be like a pretty big coping mechanism. My father was also like that. He was very like inappropriately humored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I lost my fiance, girl I was
Aw.
engaged to. She passed away when we were teenagers. So
Aw.
we like started dating when I was like 13. We met and then we started dating not long after. Dated all throughout high school, and then she passed away. And it's something like I found her and everything, and it fucked me up for a real long time.
I could
And
imagine.
it took a long time to get over that and kind of learn to live with it. Music and humor were a big part of that. There's a band I listen to, Gaslight Anthem. Shout out if any of you guys know, they're fucking great. And a lot of Brian Fallon, the lead singer's writing, has kind of like helped me a lot through things, and like got me through it and helped me a lot. One of the tattoos I want to get is a Gaslight Anthem lyric, along with like a little like gramophone with it. But one of the things I've started doing is just getting tattoos for some of the more significant people. On my arm here for my grandmother, who always said when she died she'd come back as a big black alley cat and haunt us all.
Oh, it's a kitty. Love
yeah,
that.
it's a big like hissing cat. We
Oh,
used to
I
have,
love that. Yeah, the
we used to
Halloween
have
cat.
a silhouette of a cat
Yeah.
sitting up on like a little beam on our deck to keep birds away.
Yeah.
That worked for a little bit, then
Oh,
the birds started
cute.
sitting on it and shitting on it anyway. And so
I
like
love
that's why
that.
it's like a silhouette of a black cat.
Yeah.
And then on my ribs, I have title of that my ex-fiance's favorite album, and it's in the text from her favorite movie. It's "The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me" by Brand New is the album.
Yeah.
And then the movie is Donnie Darko. So it's like the
Oh, Donnie Darko. Yeah, yeah, I like that.
So I have that on my ribs over a scar I got from somebody stabbing me in the chest.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just like,
yeah.
In hindsight, it's like really funny because I basically was like, "What are you gonna do? Stab me?" To the guy because like I knew him, I knew where he was from, and like all the shit. And I was just like, I knew he was just a drug addict looking for money. Didn't have anything on me.
Yeah.
And started walking away, and he just right in my side.
Yeah, I guess you can. Yeah.
And...
Moral of the story is you can never underestimate a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These will do anything, even if they know you know who they are.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel that way about my own family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joke's
so
on
I understand
him.
that.
I didn't feel it. I had had surgery on that from my lung collapse. So the
oh
nerves
my
were
goodness.
still damaged, and I was fine. Nothing happened of it.
Yeah. So what other tattoos do you have? Are those your only tattoos?
For now, yeah. I want to get one for my grandfather, rather, on this side.
Is it gonna be a dog?
No, it'll probably be a stamp.
A stamp,
like a postage stamp. With the Constitution and the monument on it. With his birthday,
I love that.
77.
I love
you know
that.
How normally it'll say like 77 cents or whatever on it in the corner. Have 7/7, like 7/7, which was his birthday.
Yeah, I love that.
So get that, and then just have that like here because his wife's is here.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah. Honestly, I would like to see like YouTube videos of you like reacting to like historical events that like people put up and calling out how bullshit they are.
Yeah, there's actually a channel that I watched that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
This guy Minuteman, and like one of the things he does for like some of his shorts is like
guy
𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀. He's a historian from New England as well. That does like that exact thing.
Yeah.
But he's more like archaeology than like more contemporary and like more modern stuff. Like his is more ancient.
Yeah, I would love to see you do that. I would love to see you like react to like I know you have like some knowledge of Christopher Columbus. So like I'd love to hear you like talk about that. Yeah. That'd be so freaking fun. Oh yes, this is Rooney Galaxy. So we're doing a podcast right now, where it's called A Daily Dose of Sunshine, where I uplift the voices of other people, because their stories could be that sunlight, in other people's depression that could really help them keep fighting and inspire them. So yes, if you want to come on and tell your story, I would love that. Just message me on Discord. But this is Rooney. Rooney's actually one of my favorite people. Very, very, very serious, but I think that Rooney just puts up a front to be serious because Rooney's actually really silly. I like actually watched like a whole movie with Rooney once, and it was so silly. You know what I mean? Yeah, Rooney's like one of those people when you get to know Rooney, you're like, dang, Rooney's really funny. You know what I mean? But Rooney's very reserved, like at first. Yeah. So you're gonna have to go into Rooney's stream, and then you're gonna realize that Rooney's like literally amazing once you get to know Rooney, and not like so reserved. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I try to not be reserved, but I think that's a fair
you went through a lot in your life, right? So I understand that. Yeah, I imagine that.
Through a lot, and like part of the ways I learned to live with it is like not that people don't care, but like some random dude, like you don't need to tell them that you're fucking. I've always been like, there's a very like common thing, especially in New England, especially among guys, of like you don't need to like tell everyone your life story. Like you're there for a reason. You go and you do that thing. And, like, I think for me, at least, streaming has helped with that, where like the purpose is to interact. And so like kind of do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, hold on. I like got so interested in your stories that I forgot we were going by like a question thing. Or yeah, I was like, yeah. Hold on, let me see this. Yeah, if you could give any advice to somebody else in your situation, what would it be?
Just keep breathing.
Yeah.
There's the fucking shit, of course, because I was just bringing it up. I think
Yeah.
it's. I need to look this up because it's gonna bother me.
Yeah.
Gaslight Anthem song. I think it's 1930.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the lyrics. It's like the whole thing. It's supposed to be like a song to somebody who's died, kind of
Yeah.
idea. I don't know what Brian Fallon actually wrote it about, but like it's like the beginning of it's like, give me mercy in a minute now, I'm gonna bleed a little poison out and cry a little river down, and I'm setting this whole thing on fire. And it's like kind of putting shit to rest and getting over it. It's trying to, as futile as that might be.
I love that.
But like one of the things is like, but here the nights will eat you alive, but I won't give in tonight. You said it's not worth my time and not to regard them and not to settle just a peace of mind, but I can wait it out all night if you just keep breathing. It's like that.
I love
like,
that.
I can, it doesn't matter. Just keep breathing, keep going.
I love that.
And then another one, the one that I want to get tattooed is like, one of the lines is like, some hearts are gallows, I'm not here for waiting around. And
Yeah.
it's just like fucking, you got to keep going. Like some people,
Yeah.
it's just kind of how it ends for them,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And like it gives in, but like you got to do what you can to not be that person and to
Yeah.
live, if not for yourself, then for someone else and for
Yeah.
those around you, and to make your own situation better, because it'll never get better on its own.
That's a lot of self-awareness that like a lot of people just don't have. So you pointing that out can really help other people gain that self-awareness, or like show other people they should probably be looking deeper. And I think that's super inspiring.
Yeah, it's like it's there's got to be something, and I said it before, and it's just one of those things that just keeps me going, at least, is
Yeah.
knowing that things change.
Yeah.
It doesn't always stay this way. It will at least be different. I won't necessarily say for certain it'll get better, but it'll be different.
Yeah.
And sometimes difference is just what you need. It'll get you
Yeah.
out of it. Like I was kind of stuck in a rut and in a loop, going to like illegal shows, and like
Yeah.
somebody just doesn't show up sometimes, and somebody new shows up, and somebody else doesn't show up, and just in this cycle of just chaotic nonsense to some extent. And then joined the military, and it was shitty in its own way, but it was shitty in a different way. And
Yeah.
it was that different that I needed, and that's something that pulled me out of where I was.
Yeah. Honestly, I could imagine that. I like to think of like I also kind of like resonate with that, because I like to think of anything that happens as just a new opportunity, and some new opportunities suck, but it's a new opportunity. And it's just the way that life is. I like think that one of the most beautiful things about being a human being is the fact that we have so much resilience, so we'll always be able to adapt. And I
It is
really like that.
insane the things people
Yeah.
will adapt to living in,
It's true.
and like
We've
what
all,
people
yeah.
can tolerate and what humanity can live with. It's impressive to me to hear some stories
Yeah.
from some people. And like I know somebody had said like, man, like you've been through a lot of shit, and it's just like I know people that have been through way worse than
Yeah. That
and
is
like
true.
they're still going. And like if they can, well then so can I.
Yeah.
And like I can do something about what I have.
Yeah.
I can keep going and improve
Yeah.
my station.
Being aware of that makes you a lot more empathetic. I know that I'm very forgiving of my mom and my dad for the way that they are, because they had a worse life than me. So like just knowing that like hurt people and that there's generational trauma and generational abuse, I think that's like a thing of just being open minded to that. So I agree in like in like that kind of like aspect for sure.
Yeah, it's like part of that thing before of like how like I used to be one of those people that's just like, well, like you haven't been through shit, like you don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
And, like understanding like it's different. It's not
Yeah,
the same for everyone. Like if
it's
your
true. Yeah,
life at a baseline is better and then it gets worse, like that's gonna affect you. It
yeah,
doesn't matter if their life was better than yours at a baseline. If you both drop the same amount, you're both gonna be hurt.
exactly. I like to say depression is depression. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anxiety is anxiety. Trauma is trauma. It's all going to affect you in the same way. If like your most traumatic moment was this moment, it's the trauma's real. And you're going to experience it in the way that you are. And if it's as strong as somebody else who got the trauma from like a very traumatic, like, I don't know, like a Lifetime movie type situation, like you could write a play about it, like, then they've got it that way. But like just because you got your trauma in a different way, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. And if anyone tries to tell you that like or like downplay your own suffering because what made you suffer or like trigger that kind of like depression or anxiety or PTSD or whatever is not worth it and that you're weaker, like just don't listen to them because obviously we've all had people like that in our lives who've done that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And like there's
Yeah.
no shortage of people too that like I'd like to think I'm like one of them that has been
Yeah.
through a lot and gotten through it and is
Yeah.
more than willing to try to help those who have been through things and to try
Yeah.
to reach out. If anybody ever reached out to me, it was just like, hey, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if I just was like awake for 24 hours. I'll stay up as long as you need to try to like help you through it and like that kind of thing. Like there's plenty of people who have been through shit that will help you if you ask them
Yeah.
and won't expect a thing in return. They won't belittle you. They won't like make your shit seem like it's not as bad as it
Yeah.
as theirs or anything and will help you through it.
Yeah, honestly, those people in life, I've realized that I might have been one of those people because people belittled my journey, you know what I mean? So then I felt like I needed to like overcompensate by like fighting twice as hard to like feel like I like actually struggled because I was invalidated a lot. So like I can understand that like having people like you like speak about it and like have like such like a hard life because obviously you've like went through a lot to those people, like obviously them like judging you right off the bat and then you coming out with like your story, it proves to them that you can go through a lot and still be like supporting of other people, and that's very inspirational.
Yeah, like I was told,
Yeah.
like fuck, when I was in the army, I finally went to a doctor about my
Yeah.
problems, and like they put me on antidepressants, and because of that, like I was labeled as non-deployable for a minimum of 90 days, pending
Yeah.
them waiving that. And the unit I was in was like high tempo going back and forth
Yeah.
between South Carolina and Kuwait and Third Army. And I had somebody literally fucking ask me, like, what, are you just trying to get out of fucking deployment?
Wow.
I was just like, first of all, it ain't a deployment. Like,
Yeah.
you should be able to look at my uniform and know that, like, I'm not afraid to deploy to fucking Kuwait.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the problem. I'm not trying to get out of it. I just have fucking problems. I
Yeah.
nearly lost my shit on him. I had to, like, get
Yeah.
up and walk away because anything else would have just made the situation worse. And I fucked off.
Yeah, it sounds
I
like that
didn't say
person was
anything.
probably projecting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, okay, like, fuck you for this is why, like, they have all of these classes that they make
Yeah.
people go through in the army of like, hey, if you have problems, talk about it. Why they have the training and why they have all that stuff to try to get people to open up and go get the help
Yeah.
that they need. And like, it was one of those training sessions
Yeah.
that I'd gone to in Kuwait, hilariously. That
Yeah.
when I got back to South Carolina, like, I was just like, okay, like, maybe I do need help. Maybe I do need to go
Yeah.
and reach out and get help for it. Which I
Yeah.
did. It helped a lot. I was on meds for a couple of years before I was like finally like good enough to now be off of it.
Yeah. I love that. I
Which
like to
is not
also
that
tell people, yeah.
it's not that the problems are gone. It's just that I'm
Yeah.
able to live with it better. I
Yeah.
don't need to be medicated, which helps a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I like to tell people that like sometimes meds are just the stepping stone to help you be able to live for yourself long enough to like understand what you're going through. Get
Yeah.
like the
And like
counseling or like yeah, the introspection.
when I was prescribed them, like I was just like, I don't
Yeah.
want this. Like I want to still be able to like do things. And like I
Yeah.
don't want this. And he was just like, no, because like treatment on its own is good. Meds on their own are a crutch. It's a stopgap.
Yeah.
Meds and like actual treatment is the path for like that's
Yeah,
how
it
you
can
get
really
better.
help you. Yeah.
Like one without the other isn't as effective.
Yeah. And like meds can really, really help you just gain that power to keep fighting. Because I remember when I got on meds, I was like, absolutely not, because the stigma, like you take meds, you're mentally weak. You should be able to do it on your own. When I started taking meds, like I was like, dang, I feel like I don't hate myself. You know what I mean? It was crazy. I was like, I feel like I could have the motivation to get out of bed today. And that's just it. Just having that motivation.
Yeah, having
It's
that
like,
energy,
yeah,
having that like
yeah,
emotion back. Like I'm one of those people that like if I get depressed, I'm just
yeah,
like I'm just dead inside.
yeah,
I don't show a lot. I don't feel much when it gets particularly bad. Which admittedly, this is one of the harder times for me. Like I'm pushing through it a
yeah,
lot right now because of issues with like job search things. And as hard as that is to admit, like I know I need to interrupt the cycle. And I know I need to
yeah,
break that like cyclical thought that just starts you circling the drain,
yeah.
and just break that and not let it control me and own my every movement and every thought and every
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah, that's very freaking true. Honestly, you like talking about it now, even though it like sucks to talk about it and stuff. I know there's so many other people in your exact same situation. Like
Yeah.
literally.
Like I've been trying to find work like actively and like
Yeah.
trying to find things to be like extremely
Yeah.
open to almost a fault here. Trying to find work and like got an interview and like finally got an interview and then nothing, no response, no.
Yeah.
I've reached out and I've gotten nothing, and like that
Yeah.
fucking sucks. Like
Yeah.
to be trying and get nothing, go nowhere.
The climate right now is really, really bad with people being laid off and when the
Yeah.
corona started, and it's just a very, very bad work climate right now.
And it's like there's a part of me that understands that worst case scenario, I am in good enough health and I'm young enough still that I can go and
Yeah.
enlist. I can join the army
Yeah.
again. I can do that. I can
Yeah.
finish out a few more years and get a retirement out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like honestly, there's like I like feel like a lot of like careers are like who you know, right? So like yeah, like there's a lot of people in here. I know a lot of people. Like we could probably find like something, right? We could find something somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And to answer your question, Pretzel, not really, no. I'm one of those people that will learn things quickly. I'd like to think I'm like above average intelligence. I worked in logistics in the army, so yeah, customer service experience
Yeah.
constantly. But like, I don't have a whole lot of like technical, like actual formal training outside of like the logistics things. Which like
Yeah.
one of the interviews I went to, they literally said that I had one of the best answers they've ever heard to one of the
I love that.
questions, and then I never got a response. And it was like the question was actually interesting. The guy asked me, he's just like, last question. You have a report that's due. Do you turn it in on time but incomplete, or late but finished? And it was, I sat there for like, I don't know, 4 seconds before I was just like late but finished.
Yeah.
Like there's
I
no
would have done
point
the same thing, yeah.
turning something in unfinished. You'll have to go
It's
back.
true, yeah.
And
Very
I was just
true.
like, there's something I learned very early on from like a commander I had. He had said, there's 2 ways to do things, right and again. You don't always have the choice to do it again. So you got to do it right.
Yeah.
And if you do it wrong, you're doing it again.
I love
So
that. That is
it's
very
just
inspirational, yeah.
a cycle of
Yeah.
do it right or do it again.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, I love that.
it's just one of those like I didn't get the job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to apply for something else and do it again.
Yeah. Honestly, I love that because as somebody who struggles with ADHD, I have very bad time blindness. I don't have any concept of time. So like literally I always turn things in late. I'm late, but I'm like kind of living through that. Like that actually inspires me because I'm living right now with that. Like I'm going to just do it and I'm going to be late because I'm going to sign up to be late until I'm not late anymore. And I have to keep pushing through that because if I don't do it, then I'm failing. I'm not doing anything. So I just got to sign up to know that I'm going to be late until I get better at it over time, and then I'm not going to be late at some point. Yeah. And like luckily everybody who's come on has been super amazing and really like gracious of the fact that I'm freaking late and I have a terrible time schedule.
mean, I don't mind. Like, I know you'd set it up to do it a couple days ago. I know I messaged you a little bit and it's just like, hey, like, what's going on with this? But like, shit happens. Life comes first.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and pest you about it. I'm
Yeah.
one of those people that's just like always around because I don't have a job and I don't sleep. So I'm always around. I'm always available. Which you were like, you want to do it now? I'm like, what? Like now?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that you could come on right now. Yeah. So like we actually benefited from like you not having a job right now. So yeah. We benefited right now. All of us did.
Happy to turn in tinfoil.
Yeah, look at us gamers. Shit. Yeah. Honestly, I like literally I don't really have a problem waking up. I have a problem like going to bed at night. I just sit there and I doom scroll. I can't do it.
I've just always been, even as a baby, I didn't really sleep as much as like, my sister did. And like as a kid, I didn't like, I'd be up late and wake up early. And it's just always been that. It's kind of what it is for me.
Yeah. I love that though. I literally love that. Yeah. Okay, let me look back on the sheet. It says, if you could tell younger you one thing that you were proud of, what would it be?
Yeah, just fucking just read what I wrote there. You do what you could, even if it didn't work out. You tried.
I love that.
It's just you're not gonna be able to do it again. On my ex, I did everything that I was able to help her and be there for her. But I mean, there's only so much I could have done, and with the problems that she had, there was nothing I was going to do myself that would get her through that. The help she needed, she couldn't get, and it's something that I struggled with for a long time.
Yeah, honestly. Honestly, like I know that there's like this there's so much lore to you, and I think that there's so much lore to like a lot of people, and like just knowing it is like so inspiring. Like just knowing more about it, yeah, because then you could really understand how somebody is and why somebody is the way that they are, and I literally love that. Yeah, never judge a book by its cover for sure.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are just like I've had people been one of my NCOs I had when I was lower enlisted. I was a private, like fresh out. Just when I got to Korea, first duty station, first like NCO I was under Sergeant Sergeant B, we'll call him. Fucking, it was just like, man, he's like, I wasn't expecting you to be like the way that you are. He's just like, I expected you kind of just be like kind of cold and like empty. He's just like all this shit about like people from Boston and stuff. Like, you're actually like a lot more empathetic and a lot like kinder person than I was expecting. I was just like, I don't know if I should be insulted or not.
Yeah. You definitely have those like vibes at like first that like you don't really care, but then like dealing with people like that, like people like the face that people put onto the world is usually like how they have went through life, right? So usually if people like do that, they're like showing that they're not going to put in more than you're willing to put in. So I like actually like people like that because they like they show you right off the bat like what their intentions are. Like if you want to be their friend, then you're gonna have to be their friend because they're gonna be them no matter what. And I really like that.
I've also like part of it for me is like a cultural difference. Like that dude was from Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm like deep south dude. I'm from fucking downtown Boston, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like a big like cultural difference there between just north and south, like old Irish Catholic family, old Protestant. I think he was Baptist. Religiously, and like he was like practicing and shit. It's like, hey, whatever. He was a really good dude.
Yeah.
Got along really well with him, hilariously, considering how opposite we were in a lot of ways. But not too different from you and I in a way.
Yeah. You and I definitely have opposite vibes, and I love that.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I have always been raised with like that idea of just leave people the fuck alone. Like leave them alone.
Yeah.
It's not your fucking business. Like just stay out of this shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you don't have to be nice. One of the things that my grandparents had said, you don't have to be nice. You do have to be kind.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to like and it was one of those things that I've heard put a different way of like, say you get a flat tire and like somebody from like California. This is stereotype. No offense, anyone from
Yeah.
California. Somebody from California would be like, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Oh, Washington too, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry
Washington
that
too,
I'm
yeah.
sorry for that. Like, and then they would do nothing. Like they would just see that you have a
Yeah.
flat tire and do nothing. But then like somebody from here like would be like, what the fuck did you do, you dumbass? While like going and getting
Yeah.
a jack out of their car and like starting
Yeah.
to like go and help you change the flat.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, you might get a little bit of shit for it and they might not be so
Yeah.
nice about it, but they're gonna help you fix the problem.
Yeah. I
And,
think like
that
people here,
mentality.
yeah. People here like literally are so nice and they're willing to help. I think that it's the bridge
Yeah.
between California and like where you are from. Like I remember like there's a couple times my car broke down in the middle of the road. Literally without even a thought, everyone got out of their cars and pushed it. Not
like,
even
I'm
saying
not gonna,
anything.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna,
so
like,
nice.
be
Yeah.
all, like I won't be rude to somebody. I won't be mean.
Yeah.
Like if it's somebody I know, I'm gonna give them shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not from South Boston. I'm from the northern part of Boston.
Yeah.
But
Well, like that's why I like you as a friend, right? Because you're that kind of friend. I'm not that kind of friend, but I love those friends because my sister is kind of like that. I was raised with her. She's very much like you're like literally. I answer the phone. She's like, "Sup, bitch," and I'm like, "Sup, bitch."
Oh,
You know what I
hell yeah,
mean?
dude,
Yeah,
man.
we have
Yeah.
that kind of
No,
thing.
like, I'll
So
give
like,
somebody,
yeah,
like I'll give PR, like I'll
Yeah.
tell like PR, go fuck yourself, PR. You
yeah,
suck.
exactly.
But like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna like if you had a flat tire, like you had
Yeah.
like something happen, you would be like, hey, is there anything you need?
yeah. You're
My
the you're the
grandmother,
heckling
like,
friend. Yeah,
I'm not somebody to hug. I'm not a very touchy feely person. Surprise.
Yeah.
There was fucking I definitely get that from my grandma when I was a teenager, and like so was this dude. This guy Billy was dating one of my sisters, and
Yeah.
his mother passed away from cancer. It's like that sucks. Like dude's going
Yeah.
through a lot, you know. He came. My grandmother already knew because word travels fast and all. But like he went and like told her like, "Hey, Mrs. Rooney, my mother died yesterday." And my grandmother sitting at the table, like little round table, they're sitting like 3 feet away from each other tops. She just goes, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. She was always a good person. There's a box of 𝗪𝗲 in the freezer. It's the closest you're gonna get to a hug." And like offered him a box of ice cream bars instead
Oh
of
my
like a
goodness.
hug.
That's
And
funny.
it's just like that's a very good representation of how
Yeah.
she was because he started dying laughing. It
Yeah.
was just such an unexpected kind of fucked up thing.
Yeah.
But, like wasn't really nice because she's like, I'm not gonna fucking hug. Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
hugs. But like here's this other thing. And like
Yeah.
it was very kind. It was what he needed, I think, at the time. Like that joke, that kind of very unexpected
Yeah.
thing to do.
Honestly, I love that. I like love how like firm she was in her boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. As like being raised in a household where there was really no boundaries and nobody respected boundaries pretty much. Like literally I love that. I love hearing that.
Like
about
I've
those
been doing
boundaries,
what
yeah.
I could, like with my nephews and nieces and everything,
Yeah.
because there's 9 of them now. Of like whenever they're all going to go and like they're being made to hug everybody, I'm like, if you don't
Yeah.
want to hug me, don't. I
Yeah.
won't complain. I don't like them. And like
Yeah.
they're all like, neither do I.
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that like I'm a very huggy person, but like I'm also like the like kind of person that's not gonna force somebody to hug me because I understand that, right? So yeah.
It's very rare that I'll hug somebody. I hugged my father
Yeah.
last week, which is I think that was the
Yeah.
first time in several years that I had.
Yeah.
Which is something that sounds like distant gold. But like,
Yeah.
that's not how it is. It's just, I don't like it.
Yeah. Honestly, I know that like I know like with like my family a lot of the time like I felt really weird hugging my siblings for like a while. And then especially my brothers because like I never hugged my brothers, but I think that I've gotten to a point where I hug everyone so much that I'm just like I'll hug anyone. I'll hug your dog. Well, dogs. I hug all dogs. I love dogs. But yeah, freaking love hugging people. But then I have to realize that other people don't like hugs. I remember like there's this guy inside of the store we were talking. I don't know who he is, but like Conrad knew his wife, and him, and his like her husband was like very very like huggy. So like he gave Conrad a hug. He's like, you want a hug? And then I was like, I don't want to leave her out. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you a hug too. She's like, oh, I'm not a hugger, but she was like, oh, but I'll hug you anyway. And she gave me a hug, and I was like, Yeah, it was like one of those people, you know what I mean? One of those non-huggy people. They exist out there.
We are
Yeah.
real. Please don't
Yeah.
hug us.
Yeah, they exist out there. They like you give me cat vibes, right? Like people who don't like hugs are like those cats that are like Yeah, they're like, "Don't touch
It
me."
was raining out one
Yeah.
day, and it was like pissing rain, and like it went out to the smoke pit and like having a quick cigarette in the little fucking trees there.
Yeah.
And some dude's just like, man, normally I think that you're like a fucking cat, but like today you're really like a wet, like you're a cat in the rain. Like
Yeah.
it's bad today. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, you do have cat vibes for sure. Yeah. The like cat that's like, hey, we have this relationship, you feed me, you know, like we're cool, but like don't touch me. Yeah.
arm's distance.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're like, you can look in my direction, but just don't touch me. Yeah. Very much like those cats that just like want to be on their own, and I love that. I literally love that. It's like the like cat that like you see outside. Also, you also have those vibes that like you could handle yourself. Because I was realizing that like I see cats outside. I'm like, okay, that's a cat outside. It can defend itself. If I see a dog outside without a person, I'm like, oh my god, I need to rescue
God,
that poor
no.
baby.
What are you doing,
Yeah.
you poor boy?
Yeah, exactly. But if I see a cat wandering around, I'm like, oh, that cat's gonna like beat up some birds or something. So like I also see that in people too. So like there's like people that obviously you see and you're like, that person can defend themselves. So there's other people you're like, oh my goodness, I gotta protect you. So yeah. There's also
I'd
those
like
vibes
to
with
think
you.
I've struck that like perfect balance.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 6 foot tall. I'm not so
Yeah.
big that people are like, I'm gonna fight you. Like, but I'm also not so thin that people are like, yeah, I can fucking pick on that guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm right in that
Yeah.
like slightly above average, but not so big that like people are like, I can fucking. Nobody's
Yeah.
trying to pick a fight with me, but like, I also have like resting serial killer face, so people generally
Yeah.
leave me alone.
Yeah, well, I like think that you have that kind of vibe that's like kind of no nonsense. And
I
like
mean,
to
yeah.
me, yeah,
Like if
to
I walk
me,
into a place and I'm like
yeah.
trying to do something, like I'm there to do the thing. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna,
Yeah,
like, dick
you don't
around
give
with it.
off yeah, you don't give off that vibe that like you like want to be social. And I think to me that I like that kind of vibe because my sister was like that. She's very introverted. She didn't really want to share a room with me. And I literally loved annoying her. So like meeting people like you, I'm like it's now my mission to literally know what's behind that like that stoicness. Yeah. So like I like see people like you and I'm like, I gotta be your best friend. Cause I gotta know. I gotta literally know you as
What's
a person.
going on?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
Are they so quiet?
Yeah, exactly. It's always the quietest people though that like make the best friends because they don't talk trash about other people. So
Oh, I
that's
talk plenty
also
of
yeah.
shit, especially
Yeah.
about that fucking weird Argentinian.
Yeah,
dude.
about PR, yeah. But I also
I
talk
have
weird about
questions
PR, so
his heritage.
yeah.
Still.
Yeah, we bond over that because I also talk bad about PR too. Screw that guy. Yeah. I heard they I heard
most of what I sent to PR is just
Yeah.
fucking Argentina memes at this point.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know any Argentina memes. All I know is the Pope is from Argentina, and I was like, what the heck? How did he become the Pope? And PR was like, I don't even know. And I was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? He just was like, I am the Pope, you know, and it just happened. Weird. Yeah. So I was like, that's very interesting. Yes. Hi, Serenity. How are you? Wait, what was your old account? Yes. But yeah, honestly, yeah, so I'm very annoying. Like I like guess I'm the opposite of you. Like obviously, like I call myself annoying because I like people call me annoying, but obviously I don't try to be annoying. I was a lot more annoying when I was a kid. And I'm not like saying that in a bad way, but like I can be very annoying to some types of people, basically like introverts or like people like you, like my sister. I can be very annoying because of how persistent I am. But I feel like my sister and like a lot of people are like, you're annoying, but they're like willing to tell me, and then like later they're gonna be like, okay, now being around you is not gonna be annoying because I understand that like some people need a break from me. Yeah, because I learned that with my sister. Sharing a room with her, she used to beat the shit out of me, but I deserved it. Honestly, I was annoying. I was very annoying. So sometimes you just gotta
why
yeah
anyone would find you annoying.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Well, like so you have to find the balance, right? So like if you know that somebody else is like not liking to be around you, like you can understand that and you could be like, okay, I understand, and I don't take it personally because I understand I have a lot of energy. So some people are like, I gotta chill, bro. I gotta breathe. Yeah. I mean, just at Taco Bell the other day, there was this girl and she was like, are you like this all the time? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, it's kind of scary. And I was like,
how do you maintain that energy? Do
Yeah.
You just constantly eat?
No, I like to say like being around great people literally makes me more social. And I think that that's the extroversion thing. Where like I had depression for so long, I didn't realize I was extroverted. And then once I started taking antidepressants, I was like, I really like people. It was crazy. Yeah. So I guess I've been on like both spectrums of it, socially anxious and then super extroverted. So that means you're amazing because I'm just gathering more and more energy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're just sapping it out of me, I think.
Yeah. I'm vampiring it. Yeah.
Fucking energy vampire.
Yeah. Can I have another shout out for Rooney, please? Rooney's literally so funny. Yeah. Yeah, you literally remind me so much of my sister. My sister's like the exact same way. Yeah, I'll like
Good
go up to
people
her
are
and
that.
like, yeah, I'll like go up to her and then she's like, you know how many butt cracks I've seen today? Too many butt cracks. And I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, she's just so funny. Yeah. She's literally funny. Yes, right, Lawton. Rooney's a whole freaking vibe. So this says, your hobbies are video games, reading about history, reading in general. So you read.
Yeah, I read a lot
Yeah.
of boring shit. A lot
Yeah.
of like government documents because there's
Mhm.
just I gotta read the source, you know? Like I
Yeah.
can't just listen to somebody else tell me what I should think about it. I have to read it
Yeah.
myself, and like it's awful. Don't do that.
Yeah, I bet
Don't
you
do
read the
that.
whole. I bet
Ask
you
me.
roll.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
I bet you read the whole freaking Mueller report.
No,
No.
that one I didn't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm not gonna. There's some
Yeah.
things I don't waste my time with. The things that
Yeah.
get like crazy sensationalized and stuff, I don't.
Well, I would like to
Uh,
see that. Like, you could make YouTube videos about that too.
Yeah,
If
probably.
like you're talking about that, or just stream it. Yeah, stream it, and then
yeah.
put the VODs on YouTube. Yeah.
I follow a bunch of things going on with like stuff in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And, like, we'll like hear about some like device or some weapon
Yeah.
or system being used, and then like go and read about it to
Yeah.
understand like what it does and what its place is, its capabilities, and have a deeper understanding in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like things that are like thousands of pages, like fuck nah, dude. Like that's just
Yeah.
filler. They're intentionally putting stuff in there to fuck with you and to lie to you and get you to like not read into it and buy into it. Like all those things just should not exist.
Hear me out, right?
Um,
You could be one of those websites that cuts out the filler for people. Like anime websites. You're like, skip these pages, skip these episodes.
That's what this
Yeah.
this channel that I watch.
Yeah, look at that. Love it. Yeah. That'd be literally amazing. Hi,
And then like
yes.
I'll go and like read like classical myth and like old philosophy
Yeah.
shit and like stuff like that as well. I find like a lot of old writing to be
Yeah.
fascinating to see like the links to the modern day in a way.
Yeah.
And just some things that are just like for fun. Every now and again, I read
Yeah.
'22 over again as like a specific.
I've never even
thing to
read
read.
that, so I'm gonna need
Really
you to
good
give me a
book.
whole synopsis on it.
Idea is, you know, like the phrase like, oh, it's a catch-22, right?
No, I don't know what that
Or
is.
it's
Wait,
like, damned
maybe
if you
I
do,
know
damned
that.
if
Yeah.
you don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, I do.
Like it's an
Yeah.
impossible situation. So like the
Yeah.
phrase comes from this book.
Yeah.
In more modern lingo. But it's World War II. Guy Yossarian is a bomber
Yeah.
bomber crewman. I think he's a bombardier. I can't remember if he's a pilot or a bombardier. I think he's a bombardier.
Yeah.
And like he's the guy who's like looking through the sight, dropping the bombs.
Yeah.
And they're told like there's a rule called catch-22. And it's, if you're insane, you can be grounded. In order to be qualified as being insane and get grounded, you have to file for that claim saying that you're crazy.
Yeah.
Saying that you're sane or insane is proof that you are sane.
That's true.
So, which like isn't entirely, but like in this instance, yes. Like
Yeah.
that's the point of it. So it's like,
Yeah.
in order to be grounded for being crazy, you have to say that you're crazy.
Yeah.
By saying you're crazy, you're proving you're not, so you can't
Yeah.
get grounded. And it's like that circular logic loop. And
Yeah.
like the whole book is just full of that. And it
Yeah.
is in some ways one of the most accurate military stories, as well as like slapstick humor and like over the top goofy like Monty Python.
I love that.
and,
Yeah.
like, shit like that. But then it's also like very serious, like holy shit kind of commentary at points.
Yeah.
There's this scene where this guy Nately is having a conversation with this old Italian man that's a fucking pimp in a brothel about like empires and like the rise and fall of empires. And this old man's like, Rome was destroyed, Spain was destroyed, Persia was destroyed. what makes you think that your country is gonna last? Like, all of these other empires have risen and fallen. Why do you think the American empire is any different? And it's like a very serious commentary, but it's in such an absurd framing and setting that it you almost don't realize it. And like the whole book is like that. It's great.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It's a really good, highly recommend. It's Catch-22 by Joseph Heller.
Yeah, I actually really like the idea of that. Yeah, it reminded me of D&D in a way. I love D&D, and D&D has those kind of vibes.
Same kind of absurd, where it's like a real thing that somebody's crafted, like universe, but then also like people are just doing weird shit like seducing the dragon.
Yeah, I love that. I'm a huge stan of D&D and like the creativity of people seducing dragons. It always makes me super excited, like to see what people do. See, that's why I wanted DM, because I want to like literally see the things that people do. And plus, it's the DM's turn all the time, and I like it when it's my turn all the time.
It's always your turn.
Yeah. I want
feel
it to
like
be
that would actually probably help you with like focusing on it and not like getting distracted and like zoning out.
Yeah, I get zoned out a lot.
You have to pay attention to each individual person.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you have this whole thing going on constantly in your brain, and like thoughts and ideas and everything. But then whoever's turn it is, you're talking to them. But then you still also get that focus change going to the next person. That I think might actually be really useful for somebody with like ADD. ADHD.
Yeah. Honestly, I and you get to talk because you get to like voice all the characters. Love that.
Voices.
Yeah, you get to interact with all the characters, bring all the characters together. You're almost like entertaining a party, like of people, but like as if you were to have like a party. And like I really like doing that. So yeah. Streaming's kind of like that in a way, where you're like just talking to a bunch of people. I think that being a DM would also be that way.
Yeah, because that being like the same idea, like at least like for me, like I'll be sitting there, I'll be like playing a game, like every now and again I'll get like, a little bit hyper focused on it, but then like I'll have my chat over there, and like it's something to like glance over at a little bit and be like, okay, yeah, here's something to read, go back, you know? 𝗀𝗲𝗀𝗀 sucks.
I could see you being a very brutal DM, honestly.
Yeah,
I could like see,
like that's your own
fault. Yeah, I could see you being a very brutal DM. Like every enemy does like 10 times damage.
I would do more like I will set up a mechanic or a system.
Yeah.
And if you don't pick up on what is happening, hint.
Exactly.
That's your own.
Yeah. Honestly, I could see you like setting forth like roadblocks so that people follow your story. Because like a lot of DMs, like one of like the biggest things is like you want people to follow your story, but you don't want to like push them into it because they're supposed to like go into it. I could see you doing like a thing of being like, this level, this area is so high, and if you don't pick up that you're not supposed to go in there, you're gonna die because all those enemies are gonna be way too high level.
Yeah, think about when you first play Elden Ring.
Exactly.
People who have seen it and played it. Like you go to fight Godric, and you just get fucking wasted.
Yeah, exactly.
Godric. It's a fucking dude dressed up as other dude.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning, like the first main boss, like you go to fight the tree sentinel right when you walk out.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I need to avoid him. And
exactly.
Idea. But one of the things I'll do is like I'll play Arma, and good friend of mine, Mother, will like it's kind of the equivalent of a DM, like a game master role. It's called Zeus in Arma.
Yeah.
And it's like milsim light for the group I play with, where like yes, it's still like a very simmy kind of game, but like we don't play it necessarily that way.
Yeah.
Like you still have like your command structure and everything, but like it's a simulation, but like we aren't super serious about it. And like we'll have missions that are co-op missions where the players are all one team, and then you have a Zeus controlling all of the AI. And they'll spawn them in and give them orders and stuff like that. And like they can see everything. They are omniscient.
Yeah.
They are a god, hence the name Zeus. And they'll spawn things, and like Mother will do stuff like well, it's true. Sims are great.
No, not just the Sims, all Sims, all Sims, all simulation games.
Pop a red flare overhead if it's a night mission. And then if people don't move, we'll drop mortars a little bit behind the players to get them to move forward. And it's like, here's your fucking hint. Like, take the hint. On the roads, there are roadblocks. The roadblocks are fortified. Avoid the roads.
Yeah.
Like that kind of, like, it'll first be just like a sandbag with a machine gun. And then it'll be like an in-place anti-tank gun, and then it'll be like a full fucking tank. Like if you stay on the road, like it progresses and goes up. If you don't take the hit early on, that's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
Deal with it. You deserve to die.
Yeah.
2 ways to do things, right? And again.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly. Hi, Rudy. So, we're just like talking. Actually, we've been like literally talking for like 2 hours, and I just didn't even notice.
Oh, holy shit.
That like time blindness. Yeah, it was literally so fun that it's been 2 hours. That's crazy.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even realize until now either. But yeah, it's literally been such a freaking great experience. And I'm going to have to ask you to come back on if you'd be willing to.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell me
Yeah.
when.
Yeah.
If I'm not in chat, fucking message me.
Yeah.
I'll probably be around roughly.
Yeah, it wasn't mental health talk. Yeah, I'm going to be uploading this on YouTube later. I have to like clip so many of them. And yeah. It's gonna be super fun. Yeah, Cookie meet freaking Rooney. Rooney's amazing.
Hello.
Yeah, and Cookie's amazing too. So you two are gonna be literally best friends. Do you want to tell everyone where they can find you? And like
me? Yeah. Here. Same Rooney1007.
Yeah.
Usually on Twitch is probably the easiest way to find me. I'm in Holly's Discord. My username is Rooney.
Yeah.
Same thing. If you want to ping me, I'll respond probably.
Yeah.
I don't really use a whole lot of social media. Like I have a Twitter, but I don't really use it. Like it's there, it exists, but like I don't tweet really. Like it's not my thing. I just use it to monitor the things I follow for current events.
I'm gonna have to ask you to start putting your thoughts on Twitter because I want to hear them. I want to hear your thoughts.
That's a mistake.
I want to hear them. I want to hear like you like just tweeting like freaking I don't know like. I'm like trying to think of any political figure, and I could only think of Zelensky. I was like, Zelensky did nothing wrong.
On him, he was just like gave a speech that was just like, pretty much sounds like he believes they won the war on some level. It's like, oh, damn.
Yeah,
speech was kind of
nobody, not a single person knew. Zelensky's kind of base. That's it. 4 in the morning, nothing else, and everyone else is like. But I could also see like the debates that would bring out in the comments. That'd be so funny. Yeah.
I think all my things are like roughly the same. 1007 is my birthday, hence the numbers.
Yeah.
That's just
Oh, that's what that means.
Yeah.
So so you're like 007.
Not really.
Yeah.
007
You're a secret
British
agent.
Stuff or not. But
yeah,
all of my things are like roughly the same. I don't really use a whole lot of the social media. I do stream pretty regularly. I have my own little Discord and stuff for it. And ping on that. I think yours is set up automatically to post when people go live.
Yes. So, I think I have you in there. Yeah.
I'm generally around all the time. Like I said, if anybody ever needs anything, they need to talk, anything like that, you can message me. You can ping me. I might not respond right away. I will do my best.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you for freaking coming on. I want you to come on again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So everyone literally say goodbye to Rooney. Rooney's amazing. I just shouted Rooney out. Please follow Rooney. Also, Rooney's probably going to be in the chat, so you can probably just follow Rooney from like Rooney in the chat too. So yeah. Thank you for being on.
Play some Marauders, so like I might just be working, but I'll try to stay in the chat.
Yeah. Well, like, are you going to go live soon?
Probably not. I don't know. I might.
Okay. Yeah.
It is 2 in the morning, so much later than I normally would stop. But
yeah. Well, like, yeah. Well, just freaking stay tuned for Rooney. Yeah. Rooney Tooney.
Good night, everyone.
Yes. Good night, Rooney. Have a great night. That was really fun, honestly. Rooney's so super freaking cool, right? Isn't Rooney so cool? Right? Yes! I loved that.